What is up, everyone? Today we'll be taking a look at some top teams for the Great League Remix to get you ready for the first week of Season 11 of Pokemon Go Battle League. In Great League Remix, the top 20 most used Pokemon from the past season of GBL are banned, which means a lot of the top meta threats are out, which is super nice. I'm mainly just happy we don't have to see Walrein for another week, which is, well, I'm so done with the Pokemon, so that's good. Unfortunately though, some top meta Pokemon did make it through. Mainly Registeel, which is an absolute beast in the Great League already. And it's even more of a monster in the Great League Remix, because a lot of its like great counters are banned. Like Swampert, like Medicham, like Nidoqueen, like Deoxys, like Galarian Stunfisk, like Trevenant. There just isn't that much left. There's definitely still counters, which I will be adding a lot of those in the teams today, alright? All the teams you're going to see today are focused around destroying Registeel. Because if Niantic doesn't ban Registeel in Great League Remix, I'll just do it myself. Starting with a team that just triple counters Registeel, Kanto Ninetales, Vigoroth, and Whiscash. I think Kanto Ninetales is going to be super strong in this meta. We're going to see a lot of Registeel. Besides that, it can also beat the grasses, the ice types, the charmers, which I expect we're going to see as well. I would recommend you run the Shadow. It's just a little more potent, and I personally prefer running the moveset with the charge moves Weather Ball and then Overheat, but you could definitely consider running Psyshock as well for a little more coverage, or Solar Beam if you want to nuke those waters. The fast move is really up to you though. I think generally Fire Spin simulates better, but Ember is definitely good too, so just run whatever you prefer. Then in the back behind Ninetales, we just have two very good generalists in this meta, Vigoroth and Whiscash. Basically have play versus everything. Of course they have their counters. Vigoroth gets beaten by fighting types, but Vigoroth is very spammy, and these fighting types in this meta are very squishy, which means a Body Slam basically knocks them out. So get an energy lead on Vigoroth, and it can take out even the counters to it, the fighting types, which is cool. Same with Whiscash, of course, you lose to grass, but you have Blizzard to just one-shot a lot of the grass, so makes Whiscash a very good generalist. If you have a bad lead in this team, you can really switch to either one of your safe switches, Vigoroth or Whiscash. Though I think I generally recommend switching Vigoroth, just because it's a little better when shields are up. Whiscash is more of a closing type Pokemon because it has that nuke move of Blizzard, and Vigoroth has Body Slams it can spam, so that's the one I recommend. You safe switch, try to get shields down then, and then if Whiscash is shields down or is even in a shield advantage, it can really sweep teams. This squad is definitely not perfect. It does wall Registeel, but it does have some other issues, especially with like Tapu Fini, Pelipper, and Mandibuzz. All three of these Pokemon are kind of manageable, though. I think of the three, Pelipper is the toughest one, but you can Blizzard that with Whiscash. Vigoroth has a kind of even matchup. Tapu Fini, Vigoroth should do okay as well, and Whiscash outspams it, and then versus Mandibuzz, all three of your Pokemon are kind of neutral against it, so you can probably play around it. Not a perfect team, but definitely a very good one. Next squad is a team that's actually been doing very well for me in the Open Great League. Lickitung double fighter with Toxicroak and Machamp. Now you can really go any fighter in the back here, but I just really like Toxicroak because it's the fighter that beats other fighters, which means it pairs very well with Lickitung, which of course loses to the fighters. Besides that, the Sludge Bomb coverage is very nice to hit like grass types and charmers, which could of course be a trouble for a fighting team. Then Machamp is my preferred other fighter, because you can run a Shadow, which means the counters are just extremely oppressive. The Rock Slide is very nice coverage to hit flying types, and Alolan Marowak. Other fighters like Surfetch'd or Primeape could definitely work as well, though. Run them with the most coverage you can have. I would recommend running like Night Slash and Ice Punch on your Primeape, and then Night Slash and Leaf Blade on your Surfetch'd, because you're already doing enough fighting damage with the counters. I don't think you really need a fighting charge move as well. Now, if you don't have a Lickitung, another lead you could go with is like a Registeel. You would be a little bit worse against like a Marowak or other fires though, but it's definitely possible. Like a Regirock, also possible if you want to have more coverage against those fighters. You mainly just want something to beat Flyers and Charmers, which Lickitung does an okay job at. It's definitely not perfect, but it's fine enough. Talk about Flyers. Like I said, it's not perfect against Flyers. It does lose versus Pidgeot and Mandibuzz, which will be core breakers to this squad, but I do believe they're manageable. Pidgeot, I don't expect we're gonna see that much, but if we do, this team definitely not that great. Though you can always rock slide it with Machamp, so you're not entirely screwed. And Mandibuzz is gonna be pretty common, but should be quite manageable. Lickitung gets quite close in that matchup, and Machamp can rock slide it a couple times as well. So I think a very strong team for the meta. Next team is the weakest squad to Registeel. I'll show you, but trust me, it's still very manageable. This squad is built around making Pelipper shine, which is extremely strong in this meta. I think Pelipper is probably the strongest Pokemon in this meta if Registeel is out of the picture, but Registeel is in the picture, so we're gonna have to find a way to deal with Registeel with our other Pokemon, which is why I'm running Diggersby in the lead. It pairs super well with Pelipper, covering it for many of its major weaknesses, to Registeel, to Rock types, and to Electrics. Mainly, of course, the Registeel matchup isn't like clean cut. The Focus Blast still does a lot of damage, but you can survive that, and Earthquake does a lot, so generally Diggersby does win that, which is good. If you don't see a Registeel, you definitely want to make sure you keep your Diggersby alive. So you're going to want to safe switch into your Frostlass, which is the Pokemon in the middle. That will always be your safe switch. I think it's a very good safe switch in this meta. Even if a Registeel comes in, which is what I expect to come in most of the time, you do a lot of damage there. Registeel doesn't run Flash Cannon anymore, which means it can't one-shot Registeel. It's going to have to throw 2 Zap Cannons to take you out. It spends so much energy. In that time, you can get over a couple Shadow Balls. So you bring the Registeel quite low, you can Fire Punch it with Diggersby, then the Registeel is gone and Pelipper just shines. That's the way this team is designed to work. This will probably be one of the first squads I'll run in Great League Remix, so stay tuned for that video soon. Make sure to subscribe so you're notified for that. Definitely not a perfect team though. Charmers could be a little troublesome because, well, all 3 of your Pokemon are kind of neutral against it, but if you're up against like a double Charm line, that could be kind of problematic. Same with Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz walls Diggersby. It can hit Dark Pulses or Foul Plays on Frostlass, and Pelipper just lacks the bulk to really compete with it. So Mandibuzz could be a little bit of an issue, but I think you can definitely play around it. So overall, I think a very solid and flexible team. I definitely recommend you to try. Next team is built around Alolan Marowak, which I believe to be extremely strong in this meta. It beats Registeel, and it also beats the main counters to Registeel, the fighting types. Which I think those two also form quite a good core actually, because besides Alolan Marowak, there isn't much that beats that. So running a Alolan Marowak there could be a nice surprise for those fighting steel cores. Now, of course, Alolan Marowak does struggle a lot versus mainly like Lickitung, other ghost types, and of course the ground types, the Mud Boys, you know, Diggersby, Whiscash. Alolan Marowak struggles a lot with those, which is why I'm running Vigoroth and Tapu Fini in the back. Oh, Marowak also really struggles versus Mandibuzz as well, which is also another reason for Tapu Fini here, because of the fairy typing you wall the Mandibuzz, and Vigoroth and Tapu Fini also all do very good versus those ground types, those ghost types that Marowak really struggles against. Now, this team is definitely not perfect. The dark poisons like Alolan Grimer could be kind of troublesome for it, but should be quite manageable. Alolan Marowak does have a okayish, like playable matchup there because of Bone Clubs, and Vigoroth is pretty even there. Now, about Alolan Marowak again, by the way, if you have Shadow, I highly recommend you run Shadow. It is definitely better. The regular works just fine as well. Another problem for this team, Pelipper, which we talked about earlier, is problematic, but Vigoroth has a lot of play there, and Tapu Fini can kill it with a Moonblast too, so definitely not unplayable. Overall, I think this is a very solid squad, definitely one I'd recommend. Speaking of Alolan Marowak, this final team I'm gonna show you gets triple countered by it. But besides that, it really doesn't have many weaknesses. I think this is probably one of the most balanced meta teams you can have. Tropius, Registeel, Machamp. Tropius is your counter to all the Registeel counters, like Registeel plus Tropius form a really solid core besides fire types. Fire types, of course, are problematic for that, but Tropius beats the fighting types, beats the Mud Boys, which are the main answers to the Registeel. And then Machamp in the back, or any fighter really, is your anti-Registeel, which is of course super important in this meta, especially when you're leading something weak to Registeel. Now, there's a lot of replacements you can make in this team. The most important part is Registeel, just the most powerful Pokemon in meta. Then you want a counter to Registeel, like Machamp, like other fighters, Surfetch'd, what's the other guy called? Mankey Evolution. Primeape, yes, Primeape. A Mudboy, Whiscash, Unova Stunfisk. Maybe even a Fire could work in this squad. Yeah, Fire could be good here too, like a Alolan Marowak or Kanto Ninetales. And then you want a Flyer to counter those counters to Registeel. Like Pelipper, like Tropius, like Manabuzz, like Pidgeot could work. And any combination of those two with like Registeel will really work well. I think that's about the meta you can expect. So if you're not gonna run this squad, definitely be prepared for it, which I hope I have done with the previous 4 teams I've showed you. Anyway, that was it for today. Hope it helped. If you have any other top teams for the Great League Remix, make sure to comment them down below. I'd love to see them, and I'm sure it would help others out as well. Thank you for watching. See you next one. Good luck with your battles.